Dan, been beaten by a teammate in a time trial.
I know.
Gutting or not?
Oh yeah, well, no one wants to lose. Definitely not. Yeah, but it's good to have that competition. It's that whole, like, you don't just want to be a big fish in a small pond. When you've got people like James and Gibbo coming along and pushing it, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, come back stronger next time. Definitely a course that levelled the playing field a bit, which is quite nice. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Well, you've had a few injury problems, so I mean, I'm not looking for excuses.
Oh no, there's no excuses here. I still did really good power. Not what I'd hoped to be doing when the TTs roll round and when I want to be hitting it up. But yeah, well, a month ago I was lying sideways. And to be honest, actually, I spent the last month just riding on the track doing team pursuit stuff, as weird as that is. I know I'm not a team pursuit anymore, but it's been a good opportunity with the Danes to hop in the B team and ride hard and ride fast, which is pretty good fun. Yeah, and came back pretty late in the day. I flew back Friday morning, so kind of
You seem to be very busy with Lot Shop at the moment. You just mentioned that you've just signed with one of the pro teams.
Yeah, Israel Startup Nation.
So you've gone world tour already. What does that mean for? How long has the company been running?
So Watch Shop started officially March 2016, so we're 5 years old, give or take. Today.
So it's a bit like Brailsford wanting to ride the Tour de France in 5 years. Or
Get to the World Tour in 5 years.
You've gone World Tour in 5 years.
Yeah, well, I never expected it to kind of get to that level. You're doing it because it seems like the right thing to do, and not because you have ambitions to be at the top. And it's grown, and yeah, it's time consuming, but in a good way. It's definitely where I enjoy spending my time, and it's nice to help other people. And I mean, it's something we're doing with the team, obviously, tomorrow onto the track and aero testing and trying to get them faster. But the exact same thing with Israel, get them onto some faster kit and hopefully winning races. And I don't know how Mike Woods has done today in the time trial, but fingers crossed. Yeah.
Those bars that you had on, they're very special by the look of them. Just tell us about the bars you had on the bike today, because I've got a nice head-on shot of you. Nice and
tucked.
Mr. CDA.
Mr. CDA, exactly that. I'm not in road races for climbs, for sprinting, that's not me. Anybody who looks at my Palmares knows that I'm not going to win a race by that, so I need to be more aero, and it's one thing I've realised from doing a lot of track testing, especially with bunch riders ahead of Tokyo, that narrow is such a good thing for aero. And yeah, it was a bit of a no-brainer, so last summer in lockdown, just put those together as a bit of a test run, really, so that I can ride them on the road and see what they're like, and be confident that if I'm going to make them into a product that people are going to buy, that I'm happy and that it is safe. Because people say, oh, you can't handle them, they're bad in, I don't know, bunches, crosswinds, whatever, and actually my experience is that's an absolute myth. It's not at all bad on the handling front. You quickly adapt, and handling's actually pretty much normal. It's just people see it as a dangerous thing because they think you're losing leverage or whatever else, but in actual fact, once you adapt to it, it's pretty normal. You don't actually steer very much on a bike, you basically lean, and as long as you've got control to keep the wheel in the direction it's travelling in, then you're pretty much fine. And yeah, from an aero perspective, it's a big leap forward for me. So.
And a lot of people also talk about the lungs. I mean, they want the big bars out here with the,
Well, I time trial with my elbows stuck together, and I can still ride along with 400 watts, so it's a bit of a myth. And to be honest, there's a lot of good papers out there. Stephen Faulkner, Mehdi Cordy, they both researched the impact of TT positions, hip angle, etc., and breathing and that side of things. It's mostly perceptual. People think it affects their breathing, but in practice it actually doesn't. Breathing and oxygen supply isn't a limiting factor. Limiting factor actually tends to be oxygen in your blood and desaturation in the muscles. So basically occluding your femoral artery by closing your hip angle, that's what affects performance, not actually closing off your breathing.
Two more things. First one, James, being a roadman, winning a time trial like that on a course like this, not a surprise?
Definitely not a surprise. No, we know what his numbers are like. He's not, like, power-wise, he's pretty close to me, and he's about 15 kilos, 20 kilos lighter, so no surprise. I mean, it was, 700 metres of climbing, 43k, so we were bang on the hour. It's definitely not a fast TT course that I'd say plays to my favour, but nonetheless I'm still trying to do a good time around here, and I wasn't far off. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, of the impact of power and aero and weight on this course, so either I could lose 3 kilos or put 2.5 more watts out and match him, and didn't have another 2.5 watts in my legs today, unfortunately.
And a final word on your book. What is the book? What is it about?
Start at the end, reverse engineering. So it's a lot of people said, oh, why don't you tell your story of KJF and who what bike, and I think if you follow us anyway in the media and people like yourselves covering us, the story's out there, whereas people want to know actually what happened behind the scenes and how did we approach our end goals. So it was more about explaining the processes we went through of basically reverse engineering, starting with an end goal, breaking that down, assessing basically your assets, the people you've got, the support network around you, your access to facilities, all that kind of stuff, and then building a plan around that and executing the plan. It's just a way of explaining how we did it and giving advice and guidance on how that can apply to other people. So, I mean, today could be a prime example. If you were targeting this 2 months out, what's it take to win? What do you have from a training perspective, from an equipment perspective? What do you need to optimise to achieve a result on this course? Should you train on it? All that kind of stuff, and then putting that plan into place and executing it.
When's it out?
It's out on the 13th of May, so not far now, just under 2 weeks. Yes, there'll be a bit more promotion on that in the very near future.
Well done, thank you.
Cheers.